school, I mean, back when I went to school, we fought, and I got my ass whooped a bunch of times, but you learn from it, and then you shook each other's hands. We live in a society today where people, that's a whole other story for another day, but I just think that you've got an ingredient where you're going after somebody and you're trying to get them to respond, but yet you can't bean a guy. I mean, you know what I mean? Back in the day, in the 90s and 2000s, showed up a guy, you got beaned.
Is there a part of our game that you're referencing that I'm missing?
What do you mean?
Like, where is this coming from? Who did we show somebody up today?
Oh, I'm just talking about baseball in general.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have showed up.
I was going to say, the craziest guy on the field tonight was that lefty from Wake Forest, that freshman who was kind of the middle guy that Levi took deep. I was like, gosh, I don't know what they're doing in the pitching lab, but they might be cooking something other than pitches. I mean, that guy looked...
Yeah.
You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
Basilio live with you. We are in your Raymere studio today. It is a historic day. Here to be alive and well with you. And it really is a historic day. The first time in Tony Vols' tenure that Tennessee's been in this spot, and they're in a spot, and they're up against the wall here. And they've kind of put themselves up against the wall because they sort of played with their food with Wake Forest last night, because this team's just not going to do anything easy. And Will Heflin was in here last night talking about that. And then at the same time, you have to, it's okay to be myopic when it comes to your own team, and I am, and we all are. Baseball's like that. You know, baseball's a sport where at any level, when your team's going well, you want to watch a sport, you want to get involved with it. When your team's not going well, it's a tough sport to watch. The truth is that around the country this weekend, this is the most volatile brand of baseball there has to be. I mean, how can it get more volatile than what we saw this weekend across the country? As I bring in Bino, Jeff Henderson, and Brian Hartman, against the backdrop that what we've seen is sheer craziness with pandemonia reigning. And by the way, we have a lot to discuss today, a lot. But the truth is that, oh man, the truth is that this has been insane. Goodbye Vanderbilt. Goodbye Texas. Goodbye you. Goodbye Ryan. Bino, Jeff Henderson, welcome in. You talk about a crazy, crazy, crazy sport, man. And tonight in Knoxville, I'm asking the living listener, who has the edge in this game? Are the Vols going to fail to get out of a regional for the first time in forever? Bino, Jeff, welcome in.
Yeah, Tony, it's been an absolutely wild weekend. Thanks. Good to be on with you again. A really disappointing result last night to what was a great baseball game. It's why it's imperative that you win the winners bracket finals so you get a second chance like the Vols have tonight. Now, looking at it from a little bit different perspective, I think it's amazing. It took until the 16th home regional game under Tony V before we ever faced an elimination game in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. That's just tremendous consistency to be able to say that. So, yeah, backs against the wall. I do think Tennessee has the edge tonight from a personnel standpoint because you have to be in a little better shape in your fourth game in your pitching staff than you are in your fifth. And that's another reason you have to win in the winners bracket finals.
Yeah, the truth is, and Matt was talking about the numbers the other night on Garza Law extra innings, the percentages are like 82% when you win that Saturday game. And you put yourself into the winner's bracket there, it's an 82% likelihood that you get out. Versus when you're a Vanderbilt, when you're a Texas, and you lose that Saturday game. When you lose that Saturday game, most times you're going to go home when you're that host seed. Because you really put yourself in a spot where you got to win 3 and the other guy's got to win 1. Now, I give Wake Forest a lot of credit because they've faced elimination for 3 consecutive games, and they played nearly perfect baseball last night, especially by their standards. They fielded the ball very well by their standards. They pitched it extremely well, and we've got guys that even when the Twitchy kid was out there, the second reliever for him, this kid was nowhere near the strike zone, and Bargo's swinging at everything. It's like, do we have a scouting report? Do they give these guys scouting? Why wouldn't you intervene in the game, call timeout, walk down the line, and go, please quit swinging? Put the take sign on. This kid can't hit the strike zone. That kid threw, I want to say 10 more balls than strikes. I mean, I hate to be critical here, but geez Louise. I mean, that's just ugly, ugly, ugly stuff helping that kid out. But that's where we are. And Brian Hartman, I bring you in. And Bino's right. The consistency of Tony Vitello. And then one other observation before I get Brian's thoughts on this. And then I want to hear from you, but not yet because Chris Burke's going to join. Do you got that? Good. Tonight we're going to be live after the game. At least Will Heflin is, along with Matt Dixon. But the truth about this event is that it is a great, great sporting event. And I'm so glad that Tony and his crew have introduced it to us because this is an incredibly great sporting event. That's what this is. It really is. It is a special, fun thing, Bino, to have this deal in your community. This is the final game that we played this year in the stadium. Win, lose, or draw tonight. And, man, watching those kids play baseball all over the country and watching some of those crazy results. And all you've got to do, and I want to talk to Burke about this. It seems to me, Beanstar, if Wake in the middle innings tonight runs into one and gets up 2 runs on us, you put so much pressure on these home teams. And these home teams, Beanstar, really, 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 really crack when you put pressure on these home teams. Because then it just becomes magnified, and you could see it. You could see what that yesterday, what that club did. Wright State. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right, Luther Ingram. What a great jam. If Wake gets up a couple runs on us, Bino, in the middle innings tonight, we're going to be in big trouble, brother. I'm going to say it out loud. We better start well in this game, Bino.
Yeah, well, it's especially, Tony, when you've had more trouble scoring runs than you're accustomed to, and you've had portions of your order that have gone away for periods of time. So, yeah, and you're the defending national champion, too. And no matter how much we want to think differently, we view the game differently after we've won a national championship. Your expectations get a little higher than the game should allow.
Now, I would like to see our crowd be a little more into the moment and really attuned to some of the kids that are pitching for Wake today, because these guys walk people. And our crowd last night is too subdued for me. In past years, we're on our feet. That kid that was wanting to crack, that couldn't throw strikes, a couple years ago, we would have been literally all over him. We've turned into a little bit of a cheese and wine crowd down low. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not knocking you if you're one of those people, but baseball game, in a playoff atmosphere, you got to get on your feet, man. You watch Major League playoff baseball, people don't sit down. They don't. Like, I watch my sillies, you don't sit down. I'm not telling anybody how to behave. I'm not going the W. Lynn route on here and telling you how to cheer or not. No offense, W. Lynn. But, geez, man, you got to make some noise. You got to impact the game. Heflin said that last night, and I was thinking, he's right. And then our first baseman came out after the game and said, hey, our crowd's got to bring it tomorrow night. And I think that's right. I think that is right. I hate to say that, but I think that's right. Brian Hartman, your thoughts on what has been a spectacle of a sporting event. We've got more Game 7s today than maybe any time in this format's history. It feels like, it looks like, 7 across the country. Several top seeds are in danger. The Vols are a shout-out VIP play, are a high favorite to one of the top 5 favorites to cut them all down. They face extinction. LSU, another one in that top 5 group, faces extinction tonight. Texas is already home. Vanderbilt's already home. Georgia got eliminated. The SEC is leaking oil, Brian Hartman, and this sporting event's crazy.
Yeah, first of all, I like how they got down 4 runs and fought back to tie the game.
Yes.
And had a chance to take the lead late, but couldn't get that big hit, which has eluded them at times before this year. But they got down 4 to Texas, came back and won that game, got down 4 to Wake in a pressure situation, trying to get to the Super Regionals, and tied the game at 6 and didn't give up completely, though lately they just couldn't get that big hit late. So I also like the fact that Arvidsson gave them as many pitches as he did, 100, which helps their pitching situation tonight, which I think can continue. They can continue to have an edge. And about the ACC, SEC, both the ACC and the SEC have 6 teams left. The SEC said 13 teams. They've got 6 left. The ACC said only 9 teams, and 6 of those teams are still in it.
I wonder what that'll look like tomorrow. You'll have that full thing. Brian, who has the edge tonight? Because I don't know who has the edge in this game. I want to say, like Bino said, the home team that's in the winner's bracket doesn't have to work as hard. But ironically enough, this Dallas kid, we might look back at the weekend if Wake gets out of here and say that he saved their bacon. Now, he would have saved their bacon not throwing a pitch against us. But, that is a real hidden deal here. Eric Waddell's Bearcats, and I'm calling you out, Ewad, laying down on the job did not help the Vols. Them not extending Wake not forcing them to use pitchers. I mean, that did not help us, Bry. That did not help. That was not good.
I also wonder if the 24 hours can sort of help Tennessee as far as Wake cooling their momentum off somewhat.
Yep.
Because Wake looked like they could almost go out and play another game right after they were done playing too. But they got to cool off for 24 hours. So I don't know if that's going to help Tennessee or not. But it could.
Bino, baseball seems to be such a rhythmic game. Now, Burke's going to join us on the other side. Here's my question for you. You see this in Major League Baseball. Teams take a week off, and then they can't get it back. It's almost like they're back from spring training. I wonder sometimes if it is an edge, because several of those Sunday teams that played in the afternoon went on and won that next game. I wonder if it is an edge to already be in the groove and you have better at-bats. That happened in the LSU game last night as well, as they got shocked.
Yeah, Tony, I don't think it hurts to play an early game that day. Again, I just think the extra game has to wear on your pitching staff.
Got to.
It just has to. So we'll find out if that's an edge for Tennessee, and the momentum of this game will be decided by how good Tennessee's starting pitcher is and how good Wake Forest starting pitcher is. And whoever comes in behind them.
That Dallas kid went out and won 8 innings.
He
chewed
did.
up 8 innings.
It was huge. You're right.
It's gigantic. I mean, it's
right.
kind of hidden in the deal, and he's a former Vol, and that might come back to haunt us.
Absolutely could. Yeah, he did them a huge favor.
Because when he chews up 8 innings, essentially that takes that game and eliminates it for them. That's the whole edge of that whole deal. So now you're back on equal footing. And the thing about Wake is, which we knew, they're kind of a mirror image of us, except they walk more people than we do. But they don't field the ball very well, and they will hit the ball out of the park. We were saying that leading into the deal. It's one of the reasons why, when last I was on the air, I thought Cincinnati was going to beat them. In fact, we hit our Friday parlay. We'll have another one for you later in the week, but we hit our Friday parlay right down the middle. The Friday parlay was Louisville winning on Friday night, Tennessee winning, and then Cincinnati winning. We called it our Volunteer State Pick 3. Tim Corbin, somebody needs to get Tim Corbin like a Dale Carnegie course. I mean, you talk about, and some salve, and put the salve all over his face for his red hiney coming out of his mouth as we take a brief time out, but that's not all. Kevin Sully, got snapped at last night by the manager or the head coach over in Coastal Carolina. Duke's head coach had a meltdown for the ages. The Lady Vol softball game, we've got to get into that today at some point. That was almost a debacle for the ages. But when we continue on the other side on the TLD Logistics Hotline, it'll be Chris Burke. Tonight, the game is at 6 Eastern, not 8, which they originally released, and then they moved it to 6. Hey, thank goodness for Chef Boyardee, because an 8 o'clock start would have meant that we would have been on the air at 11 o'clock, which would have meant a show till about 1:30 in the morning, win, lose, or draw tonight, which now we can stretch out and enjoy ourselves and get a few hours back. So the clock falls back. It's a 6 o'clock start. It is absolutely, for those of you outside the area, a picture-perfect day. Picture-perfect day for baseball. Let's go win one tonight. Chris Burke on the other side of ESPN after this.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner or HVAC system is a nightmare. And with warm weather here to stay, it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before summer's heat arrives. If you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B. TB back with you. I'm going to tell you something. Between that Lady Vol home run, no home run yesterday, and then some of the flashpoints around college baseball yesterday, this is a great time of the year. Now, this might not be for some of you. For some of you, this might not be your jam, so to speak. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out. You can watch what you want to watch. For years and years, Burke used to tell me, Tony, if you give this thing a chance, it's incredible. I used to laugh at him. I watched so much over the weekend, my eyeballs were rolling back in the back of my heads. And one of the things that you got to do is, because these days, you get a couple TVs now, and you just put them on. They're cheap. You just put a TV on, and you put Squeeze Play up there. And you watch Burke do his thing with Mike Gold. Shout out Byron Williams. You're a clown. Burke, as I bring you in against the backdrop that this tournament feels like it is off to one of the crazier starts we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's been fun. I stole a phrase from D1 Baseball's Joe Healy that I've been using a lot the last couple of weeks, which, as the season unfolded, he said everything means nothing. And that has been very apt. The way things have unfolded this weekend. I mean, some of these teams not playing great and getting eliminated aren't shocking, but some of it has been extremely shocking. The fact that LSU played essentially a non-competitive game last night against Little Rock is like people can talk about Vandy and Texas. The reality was, if you watch those teams play all year long, their offenses were limited enough where the scenarios that played out were not off the table by any means. But Little Rock, who's 9 games under 500, beating LSU in their own building, is as shocking of a result that I can ever remember. Honestly, that now LSU gets another shot, and that's why this baseball deal is different, because you can lay an egg and still survive. But that game last night, just the fact LSU never even made it interesting was shocking to me.
Well, and I'm listening. I was telling you, I was falling asleep last night. I like listening to a ball game, and I listened to the Vanderbilt game, falling asleep Saturday night. And Vanderbilt's play-by-play guy, he's half doing play-by-play and half pouting. I don't know him from Adam, but geez Louise. I mean, he was I was getting ready to
send. You
mean
like the radio guy?
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to send him like a a DoorDash a dozen roses. I don't know if you can DoorDash a dozen roses to a guy, but I mean, can I send some roses down to your wake you're having for your baseball team? Like, dude, you play tomorrow. Let's everybody relax here. But Bino brought up a great point, which is this. When you lose that Saturday game in these regionals, and the percentage is 82% when you win that Saturday game, the team that has that upper hand 82% of the time is going to go on. Now, Tennessee is up against it. LSU's up against it. Several high-ticket favorites are up against it today. But, Burke, it really is a huge advantage, isn't it, to win that game?
Yeah, it is. Gosh, I get so many numbers from all these different researchers that help us do our job. So these guys do their job so well that sometimes I lose some of the numbers. But really, once it gets back to Game 7, it's a little bit of all bets are off. And especially the home team has a big advantage once you get to a Game 7. So, for instance, like Ole Miss and Oregon State lost Game 1, but here they are still around. I would put both of those teams as heavy favorites. Tennessee and LSU, you'd still put as betting favorites, but they're playing two very different rosters. And I think that's something that's really fascinating. Tennessee's never lost a home regional under Tony Vitello. And so sometimes it's easy to get caught in your own bubbles and think, man, regional play is what it is. But if you zoom out, and I think squeeze play helps really everybody get a better feel for it. And I'm not trying to bash our sport, but it really is wild how different some of the draws can turn out. Tennessee's playing an ACC school that is extremely talented, and that's just the way the deal fell. And Vanderbilt was the number 1 national seed and played a Wright State bunch that Tennessee knows all too well, and a Louisville team that has championship pedigree. And you just never know your draw and how your team's going to play that weekend. And sometimes the percentages are in your favor, and sometimes the mojo's in your favor. It's just a very unpredictable, extremely entertaining weekend on the sports calendar. And tonight is going to be wild.
7 Game 7s tonight, which is
I think there's 6.
Oh, 6 games. Okay. 6 Game 7s. And several of them are going to be really, well, they're all up for grabs because anything can happen in these deals. Bino, Jeff Henderson jump in here on a weekend where Florida, who was thought to be they were the odds-on favorite to get out of their regional, didn't even get to Sunday night. I mean, they just got blowed out. And then O'Sullivan freaked out. I mean, that guy freaked out at his press conference and got called out by the manager, the host manager, who basically accused him of punching down on the grounds crew, saying, hey, look, this is a good family man. I don't know what this guy's problem is. And then you had the situation at NC State. You had the Flashpoint situation that everybody around the world was talking about at Oregon Friday night, which has gotten lost in the draw here. But, Oregon didn't even live to see Saturday night, let alone Sunday. They went home on a whimper. Just a crazy weekend. And Chris Burke was there hours and hours and hours of showers for pennies a day. The great John Ward. Bino, Jeff Henderson, jump in here with Burke as we talk about the weekend that was and the day that's going to be. Go ahead, Bino.
Burke, I got 3 pretty quick things here. One, I think I heard yesterday where teams that lose their first game in the regional only win the regional 7% of the time. I'm guessing we're going to break that 7% with the way that you've talked about who some of the first round losers were. Couple of questions here. One, even though Vandy was the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, it didn't look like that the committee really believed who they had put at number 1 based on who they put in their region.
Well, this is an argument that we have every year. There's still the 400-mile rule, and so it's not truly a seeded tournament 1 through 64, and so Wright State is Vanderbilt's 4 seed, and I mean, obviously Arkansas, or I guess we're not supposed to call them Arkansas Little Rock. Little Rock is a little bit better than the record would suggest, but the point being, in a perfect world, the number 1 overall seed would get the easiest regional, and that's just not the way our sport is. So a lot of that has to do with geography and travel expectations, and I think some of that feels pretty antiquated to me, but I'm not the one footing the bill, so I guess I'll just live with it. That being said, it makes for extremely entertaining event. As far as the percentages go, Bino, you know how numbers are. That number is drastically different. Not that it's great, but it is drastically different when it's the 1 seed that loses their first game. So I want to say like the 1 seed still has like a 25% chance, of coming all the way back. And so Oregon State and Ole Miss would fit that bill. And at the end of the day, it's wild. You try to zoom out, and if you ask Oregon State, hey, you got to beat Southern Cal for a chance to go to the Supers, or if you ask Ole Miss, you got to beat Murray State for a chance to go to the Supers, or you ask LSU, you got to beat Little Rock for a chance to go to. All those teams would raise their hand immediately. I think Tennessee, Wake is clearly the most evenly matched if you're just looking at the rosters. You guys have gotten to see that Wake team play the last couple of days. They've got some real players on that team. And I'm not just talking about arm strength. I'm talking about that offense can really go. I mean, Winnie and Wentz and Houston, that's a scary bunch.
Hey, this Houston guy, Bino, before you ask your question, this Houston guy, sometimes you see these kids in college ball, and they absolutely look the part. If that's not a major league player, I don't know what is. Bino, when you watch that kid, that is one hell of a prospect. The brains
absolutely. The home run, the Oppo home run he hit. Oh, man. Hey, Burke, one last quick thing. With the increasing increasing popularity of college baseball and the obvious difference in the regions of the country, it's pretty obvious that the southeastern part of the country has the most good baseball teams in America. Aren't they going to have to look into trying to make the bracket more equitable for everyone? Do away with that 400-mile rule and put a real bracket out there. And I'm not just saying this because of Tennessee. I'm saying it because I think the teams, the ACC and the SEC have proven over the last couple of years that they're a whole lot better than any other area of the country.
No, I think in a perfect world that would be true. I do think there is some. Let's just take ourselves out of our own bubble and think about if you're a parent of a Utah Valley player, would you rather go to Eugene or would you rather go to Athens? I do think there is. I think it's a logical thing to try to keep some of the regionality when possible, and some of these. I know we all know parents would do whatever they had to do to see their kids play in some of these lifelong memory type situations, but I do think it adds a little historical, geographical integrity to it when, you got UCLA and Oregon State and Oregon, Arizona, some of those teams playing some more traditional West Coast opponents. I do think there is some value in that, but I also think there's value in if a team's earned the number 1 overall seed, they shouldn't be beating their brains in, unless they just lay an egg to beat a 4 seed. Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I know that's not a very good answer, Bino, but it actually is. Life, I can see both sides of it.
Well, and you know what? I'll say this. From a Tennessee perspective, and all politics are local, the Vols are in this spot right now, not due to the regionalization of this, due to the fact that they played with their food down the stretch. They've got a real team tonight in front of them, whereas LSU doesn't, and a few other teams don't. I mean, I'm not. But here's the other thing about real teams. one thing is for sure to me. This mid-major thing might be gone from college basketball right now because of the way these teams are rating each other's rosters. There must be just a plethora of very good, what I like to call, ball players out there, because the high majors didn't rate them all. I mean, I don't know. Does anybody want to explain to me how Utah Valley State beat Oregon or whatever they're called? I don't. And could anybody, Brian? Could you tell me what their nickname is at Utah Valley State Club? Do you know their nickname, Brian? Because I've never heard of them. I didn't know that existed. So I guess, Chris, I want to know
UTSA was the best team on the field in Austin by a significant bit.
By far.
I mean, that was nothing fluky about that group at all.
And I'm going to tell you something. Wright State, I don't know how many players Wright State has that Tim Corbin would, quote-unquote, recruit. They beat the hell out of that team. They made them like it yesterday. They beat them into the ground.
16 home runs in the month of May. Their catcher.
One kid has 16 home runs. That's exactly right. Yes.
In May.
In May. 1 month. Yes.
I think I heard someone call them Rake State the other day, and that's perfect.
Well, here's a crazy thing, guys.
I always laugh about Wright State because think about all the kids in that neck of the woods, because it's not like Wright State's recruiting in Alabama and Mississippi and Texas. Like, all those kids are Big Ten kids, and it's just incredible to me how Wright State – and I know Wright State doesn't have to play a Big Ten schedule, but, like, it's just wild to me how so many of the Big Ten schools struggle, the traditional Big Ten schools struggle, and Wright State seems to always have real rosters. It's really interesting.
And their kids look the part. And by the way, because I think they're in Dayton, Ohio, right? Is that right?
Dayton, that's right.
Yeah.
You know the Braves catcher went to Wright State. Sean Murphy.
That's wild. That is wild. Hey, Burke, tell me this. What is it about this sport that gives us these, like, let's talk about what happened Friday night, because it's lost on the weekend, because the weekend was so eventful and so crazy. But two of the nuttiest things I've ever seen was the play at the plate in the Oregon game, which basically ended their season, a ruling from an umpire there, which was, I thought, absurd. Now, I apologize. I didn't see that. I didn't see you guys talking about it. I'm sure you and Rooney watching that live and trying to digest that ruling, and it took them forever to come back with the ruling. And then you didn't see the Lady Vol thing yesterday, but the thing where the gal doesn't touch a plate after hitting a home run, we would be talking about that if Tennessee would have lost that game. We'd be talking about that around the country today on every show. Like every show, everybody would be talking, because it's so, what's the word? It's so odd. It's so unique. But college baseball, it challenges your knowledge of the rules unlike anything, because you got guys like Curly out there throwing the ball around and they don't know where it's going. No offense to him, but he's catching a stray right now. Tell me what your...
How did we go from rules to
I don't know. I don't know.
How did we do that?
What is your... What's kind of like him? How did he grab that ball yesterday and throw it into center field for no reason at all? I mean, that looked like U9 baseball. At any rate...
Well, I will tell you, the rules are a tricky one. We talk about it all the time, and Rooney said next week, I actually go on site for a super, but Rooney stays they keep him chained down in the studio for the whole run.
Yeah.
He actually said we are going to have an umpire on the on call next weekend for supers for the studio to be able to speak into some of this stuff. And we've talked about it because football and basketball obviously have referees and umpires and officials there to help with some of the interpretation. It would be nice for us, because the whole thing that happened at Oregon, to me, and I'm not trying to be a fence straddler, I just truly be my honest take is, if you put me in either one of those fan bases, I feel like I could passionately argue both sides of that. I did not have a distinct opinion one way or the other. Like, to me, the kid slid super late, but then he also stopped short of malicious contact, in my opinion.
He held up.
And then
he didn't.
And then
the
catcher was in front of the plate, but the throw also took him there. What's he supposed to do? He's got to catch the ball.
Let's describe this. Let's describe this, okay? You tell me where I'm wrong. It's a bang-bang play at the plate. This is the tying run. We're in the late innings. He's rounding.
It was actually going to put them down one.
Okay, so they've got traffic. Yeah. They're alive. Right. They've got traffic. They would have had a guy on second or third at that point at the end of the play. And this is the play at the plate. The ball comes in from the outfield. The catcher has it hit the top of his glove in true college baseball fashion. He doesn't catch it, which, again, the impurity or the imperfections of the sport are what makes it kind of a perfect game because you can't turn your eyes away from it. You know when the ball's in play, anything can happen. Kid makes a nice throw from the outfield. It's high, but it's still catchable. He's got a ton of time. If he just catches the ball cleanly, he can turn and tag this runner out that'll be out by 10 feet. Because the ball goes off his glove, he's kind of fumbling around trying to collect himself. He's right on top of the plate at this point because the throw is taking him there, like Burke says. The guy coming around third has no plate to slide at. None. He's got no plate to look at. There's no part of that plate he can look at. I mean, it looks like 1975, the way the plate's blocked. Now, the catcher didn't do it on purpose, but the kid coming around third has a real chance to really crush this guy. And he holds up, and he just sort of bumps into him. And, Burke, what did they call? I couldn't believe how they came back with the call they came back with.
They called malicious contact and threw the kid out of the game. Now, again, I do think the kid stopped short of malicious contact, but it was an oddly late slide. Like he should have been well in. Now you could say he had nowhere to slide.
He had no slide. He had no place to go.
But the rule is you do have to slide.
Where was he going to slide? Where was he going to slide?
Well, just on the ground. You slide. You try to get your foot to the front edge of the plate. Like you have to actually slide.
But there's nothing there. What's he going to slide?
That's the part where I said if you asked me to argue both sides, you should be sliding by the time you enter the circle around home plate. He was almost at home plate and had just started to hit the ground. That's what got him in trouble, in my opinion.
Burke, how long are you on the air this weekend? Because I'm going to rough you up. How long have you been on the air this weekend? I want to know.
About 40 hours.
What are you doing on here talking college baseball to us yahoos? Bino, what is this guy?
I'm a sicko.
And Bino, by the way, is Burke going to run for like the mayor of college baseball or the president of college? That answer he gave you about the travel rule, that was the most diplomatic, weak nonsense. And this thing on the sliding rule, I mean, the TLD logistics hotline, that's embarrassing, Burke. And I love you, but geez, man. Jeez, Burke.
He doesn't have to be elected.
He hung up on me. He
was appointed ambassador of college baseball, I don't know, decades ago.
See if Burke's pissed off, Bri, because he hung up on me. That noise you heard was Burke hanging up. Burke's gone.
Burke wouldn't hang up on you.
He hung up. What do you mean he wouldn't hang up?
I don't think not intentionally. He wouldn't hang up on you.
Burke just hung up. Burke, did you hang up? There he goes again. He did it twice now, Bino. What more do you need to know? Burke.
Well, I hope he calls in and does it the third time.
Burke's urinated off of me. He hung up twice.
My bad. Where did I
we were ripping you. Bino said that Bino wants to know what office you're running for. And
Bino does want to know any such thing, Burke. You know that.
He said that your answers sound like a guy that's been on the air for 40 hours, Burke. Do you sleep on a cot when you're not on there? Like, how do you guys do that? You're there all day.
We're just there all day. We get up, we sit down, we go grab a cup of coffee for a couple minutes. We get some snacks. But no, we're pretty much on the set straight through. Other than at 7:00, they let us go grab a plate of food, but we still eat it right there in front of the screen. Like, I've been joking, like, with our director, like, sometimes I feel like we could even loosen it up a little bit more. Like let me just eat my lasagna while the camera's on. Like, I don't think the viewer cares. I mean, we're all buddies, right? We're just watching ball games together. So
it would be cool if you guys ate on the air. I mean, hell, I do it in my overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, look, y'all, I'm getting hungry. Or, like, when I'm in here for the Garza Law post game, like on a 3:30 start, Laura will bring me dinner down here around 8 o'clock, and I'll sit here and eat on the air. I mean, look, I'm on the air. Yeah, and it's organic. What you guys are doing is very
if
organic.
The TNT show has taught us anything.
Yes.
The TNT show has taught us anything. It's that the viewer doesn't really care about traditional TV rules. They don't. Did you hear?
Yes.
Did you hear KP rip me on the selection show the other day, making fun of my grammar? It was great. It was beautiful.
Well, I mean,
I said funnest. He goes, you just used a double negative and said a word that's not actually a word. Like right in the middle of our selection show preview. It was great. It's all time great.
You know, the only rule should be in sports broadcasting is there shouldn't be any rules, especially when you're doing these organic shows that. And you guys have really found something with that, and it's a great way to consume the sport. Those of you that have never given Squeeze Play a shot, you need to look for it on the ESPN app. Plus, they also run it on the ESPN, like in between games. They'll put it up there until the next one starts. And so when you see it, pop in there and watch it for a little bit. It's a great way to catch the flavor for what's happening around the country. And this is where I want to end. Another thing I noticed when I'm watching you guys, when you guys cut to Clemson the other night, and they have their students right on top of that bullpen when those kids are throwing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that looks like literally, like back in the day, 25 years ago, Cincinnati played a football game in that old Hawaii stadium on a Saturday night, and they had those Islanders lining the sidelines, Berkey. And those Cincinnati people, I think it's Rick Minter's era, came away from that like really complaining, like, hey, they were like intimidating us. And that Clemson atmosphere and some of these atmospheres around the country, I mean, some of these people are just, it looks like they're insane in these ballparks.
Yeah.
But then when you do something middle innings, which is what happened the other night, West Virginia shut those people up and shut them down the other night. That's a concern of mine tonight with our crowd and Wake Forest getting a lead on us in our middle innings. Our crowd can go to sleep. That concerns me a little bit, Berkey. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't know that I would say they go to sleep as much as you can kind of feel the anxiety and the tension. And my encouragement and coaching for the fan base. And people pay their money to get in there, so you do whatever you want to do. But the players feel that, and if there's one thing the LSU fan base has proven through the years is that they have a knack of willing their team to not play tight, but to actually create energy and to give their guys kind of a shove forward. And you know, it doesn't happen every time. Last night it certainly didn't. But I would just encourage the Tennessee crowd tonight, if it gets a little shaky in the middle innings, like don't sit on your hands, don't wait for something bad to happen. Like those guys, they feel the energy. And so I know it's hard to do because it's just human nature. Everybody starts to think of worst case scenarios. But you know, I think there's a part that the home crowd can play in games like this that can be really beneficial to the home team. And as you said, Tony, at the end of the day, just enjoy the spectacle and the environment of having an event like that on your campus.
My daughter's gone back for the second straight night. She loves every minute of it. She's like, God, I love this sport. Where's it been all my life? It is such a fun spectacle. Bri Bino, any final thoughts for Berkey as we just made him do another 45 minutes on top of his 12-hour day he's going to have on the air?
Yes, one more.
God, Brian, one more. Let this guy go to work.
No, today's light. We don't come on air till 6 tonight.
Oh, you're only on 6. You're only on like 8 hours tonight. Go ahead, Bri.
That's right.
Ben McDonald said that he's got enough stuff to get you out, but not anybody else.
Can you still swing it, Berkey? Can you still swing it?
Hey, let me tell you something. That would be a fun little pay-per-view event for charity. Get Ben on the mound, give me a bat. Let's see how that goes. I'm game. I'm ready for that.
Berkey, I love you. What happens tonight in the Knoxville Regional?
I would be absolutely shocked if that game isn't a classic. I just think.
Oh boy.
I think both rosters are super talented, and I think both pitching staffs actually have a little bit more than you would probably think, and some of that's just because they have such depth. But if you look at Tennessee, I mean, they got a fresh Coons, a fresh Krenzel, a fresh Franklin. I think Liam Doyle's going to factor in that game tonight. So I really think I'm sure Dylan Lloyd can give them, 6 outs if they need it. I think Tennessee's fine as far as available arms. I would like to give Brandon Arvidsson a bunch of love. That kid has become a total dude down the stretch, and he has really been a star for them down the stretch. And from that standpoint, it's been a really neat development. But I think I was reading about Wake's available options, and I think they like what they have available. And you said it, Matthew Dallas really set them up. So I'd be surprised if it's not a similar score, 7-6, 8-7. And I think it's going to be a fantastic college baseball game.
Berkey, love you. Thank you, man.
Berkey, real quick.
Yeah.
I hope whoever that last left-hander they ran in there, it's not available. That kid's nasty.
Oh, my gosh, Bino. Oh, my gosh.
Not the one who was punching himself in the head.
I love him, but the last guy. The last guy.
He pitched the last inning and went through the best part of our order, and we never touched him.
I mean, didn't get a swing off of him.
When he struck out Fisher, I was like, okay. All right.
And Fisher looked back. He didn't even complain. He was like, wow, that's a hell of a pitch. He got me.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Berkey. Love.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, Bino, the kid that was punching himself in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Might be one of my favorite players maybe I've ever seen in my life. He looked like a throwback. At one point, he was such a quirky, kind of flaky kid that he was asking for a fresh rosin bag. I thought he was going to snort it.
Yeah, somebody asked on one of my threads, is this Al Roboski? And I said, looks more like Weird Al Yankovic to me. But he was effective.
Hey, Bino, would you put Liam Doyle out there tonight? I know we're trying to win a game. Would you do that to him?
Tony, you're asking me. I would not.
Okay.
103 pitches, 2 days rest. I would not put him out there. And I would assume if they do, it will be in a relief role. And I don't like starters in a relief role anyway. But no, if it were me, I would not put him out there on 2 days rest after throwing 103 pitches.
And then the second question is, would you change Tennessee's lineup at all? Because Bargo, and I love the Bargo kid. We've had him on. He's a good kid. He's a good story. And I think next year be a nice player here. But, man, he is super streaky. And I mean to tell you right now, he is not seeing the ball even a little bit. And I mean even a little bit. Would you put him out there tonight or bat him four tonight? Because I would not bat him four tonight. I'm sorry.
I don't know about hitting him fourth, Tony, but I would certainly leave him in the lineup. He's just been he was too big a factor to take out because of late struggles. It's like, and I'm not comparing him with a major league player, but it's like a major league team getting in the playoffs and you got a guy that goes cold that's helped get you. They don't take him out of the lineup. I don't think you should take Bargo out of the lineup. As far as the play last night that happened in left field, that's a no, never mind. Tony, I talk about a lot of things on here that I don't know jack about.
Right.
This I know. Because I've done it 50 times. You lose sight of a high fly ball in twilight, you're not going to relocate it.
Bino, you and I have a mutual friend.
Come down right where you're at.
You and I have a mutual friend who was ripping me. He said, I'm soft. I told him, I said, listen, when a ball, because I played outfield in those types of conditions in the Northeast because it gets dark early there. So we'd play school ball, middle school ball, high school ball, whatever. Bino, when a ball's hit a mile high, okay, and you're in a twilight, there is a spot where you lose the ball. I mean, and if you've ever played the outfield, and when it happens, you either, like you said, it either comes back on your radar, and you better hope it's near you, or, Bino, you cover your head like that kid did and scream, I can't see it. Because there's really not much you can do about it. I know people want to blame that. I do not blame that kid for that. That is not the curly kid grabbing a ball and throwing it into center field for no apparent reason. Those are two completely different things. That's like the night we played that game at Vanderbilt a couple years ago, and they had that weird deal with the lights. There are certain angles when you're in the outfield. When the ball goes up in the air, you literally cannot see it. Like, you will lose sight of it. Now, it can reappear on your radar. The pros, the guys in the major leagues, every once in a while, you'll see those guys put their hands over their head. They'll lose a ball. And once you lose it, unless it reappears, and I don't know what that is, Bino. I don't know from the light spectrum why that is, but there's a certain hue of the sky in twilight where you can really lose a baseball. But only the balls, Bino, that are hit a mile high. Does it happen in softball too? Can it happen in softball? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't happen as much in softball, Tony, because the ball's huge and it's yellow.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the ball should be yellow. I know people think that's crazy.
That makes sense.
A baseball should be yellow.
Oh, you think a baseball should be yellow too?
I do. I think that's one of the few things Charlie O'Finley was correct about.
We'll come back on the other side. That'd be interesting if they painted them up and if you painted them up, like the soccer balls, you'd be able to read the spin on the ball. As we come back on the other side, which you can already read the spin of the laces, because sometimes sometimes a ball, when it's spinning at you, will look like a what do they call in badminton? What do they call that thing? Anyway,
shuttlecock.
Yeah, you said it. I didn't. We'll come back on the other side, hour 2. On your radio after this.
WJBE 1040.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet.
Translator W259.
I texted you.
Powell, Knoxville.
Post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field. 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club teams start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy, That's you.
Wow, I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range, and if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery, so you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather & Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
Special thanks to Chris Burke, who gave us about 45 minutes in hour number one. Now we go to a guy who was supposed to be in Burke's slot, and I apologize publicly to Connor O'Neill, who's nice enough on the TLD Logistics Hotline to join us, and who said, hey, look, I understand this is all, like, we're all kind of making this up as we go along. As the Demon Deacons and the Vols, a Game 7 tonight, first time in Tony Vitello's era, first time we've ever seen one of these in Knoxville, and truly, this thing tonight, like we were talking off the air, you could tell me this team wins, that team wins. I have no idea what's going to happen here. It's kind of in fitting with what went on over the weekend all around the country. Connor, I was telling you off the air, and I welcome you back, and thank you for allowing us and giving us some grace here and jumping in with us here in hour two.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, nice of you to do that. But the event itself, you see some of these teams just have so much talent. Man, Wake looked like they were half asleep in that Cincinnati game, and they got kind of shoved around and got way behind, and that one got out of hand on them. But since then, first of all, a couple of observations. That four-hitter looks extremely comfortable hitting in our building. One, that shortstop is an excellent player. And this Wake team really does have some showcase arms that I know are kind of wild and have done some wild things. They balled out last night, Connor. That was one hell of an effort from Wake Forest. Is that what was my observations and on what we saw? And I hate to be so long-winded, poor of me, but I'm just excited about what we're seeing in Knoxville because that game last night was really incredible through my eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure the folks in Knoxville weren't thrilled about this, but I'm glad we got to see Wake Tennessee finally. I'm glad Wake did not, as you said, sleepwalk through game one against Cincinnati and lose, and then, oh my God, I mean, they had the winning run against Miami of Ohio, 180 feet away on second base when that game ended on Saturday afternoon. So we're fortunate to get good baseball. Wake was fortunate to beat Miami. Matthew Dallas goes out and throws, I think, the game of his career to this point yesterday to beat Cincinnati, and then you got a heck of a game last night. It's I'm not a Wake fan, but I'm a fan of the storylines, and I like the storyline of this Wake team that was up and down throughout the whole year, pretty much being up and down in this regional. They've had good moments and they've had bad moments, and a lot of them have come in the same games. And they've strung together enough good moments mixed in with bad moments of other teams to get to a game 7.
All right, let's set the pitching up because Wake last night had a couple guys that completely shoved. First of all, before we talk about the starter, because really this game's going to come down to the back. I think it's going to be close, and it's going to come down to the back couple of innings.
Yeah.
The kid that pitched the ninth last night, you were telling me off the air, has thrown, 65 pitches the last 2 days? How available, if at all, do you feel like he'll be tonight?
Yeah, 61 pitches the last 2 days. 48 was the big number on Saturday, and then just 13 last night in the ninth inning. I think Hayden LeFew will be available tonight, but I think it'll be limited to 1 inning. You're not going to see any situation where Wake throws its closer in there in a 1-run game in the 8th. I just, knowing how this coaching staff manages young arms and plays it on the conservative side with young arms, I don't see him going out there and throwing 48 pitches again. And kind of to the same extent with Josh Gunther, He pitched last night. He pitched about, I think he threw something like 52 or 54 pitches against Miami of Ohio on Saturday. So he's up to 86 in the last 2 days. I'm told he's on the board for today.
Wow.
But I would be pretty shocked to see him, and taking it past that, I'd be utterly shocked if I saw him for more than a couple batters. Like, I think you could throw him in there in a tight spot to get out of a jam, but I don't think you'd see him start the next inning or anything like that.
Tell me about the starter today. I know he's a kid. I know he hasn't been in this spot. And what kind of leash does he get, do you feel like?
I mean...
And by the way, he's got pretty good strikeout numbers too. He's one of the few guys on that staff you look at, and the base on balls to Ks is actually where you want to see it. A lot of those guys have really high, like you were telling us, high walk numbers and low strikeout numbers, but even Tennessee didn't even make those guys really, well, they made those guys look a lot better than they are supposed to be. Let's put it that way. But let's talk about the kid. Go ahead.
Yeah, Griffin Green comes from Virginia Tech. He missed all of last year, but he had been a weekend starter for them. And he was part of Wake's off-season haul last year that we kind of knew they weren't going to get another Chase Burns. They weren't going to get another ACC Pitcher of the Year caliber kid. They were going for deeper. And Griffin Green is one of the transfers that's more or less panned out. I mean, he's not a starter, but he's given them length in a couple spots. So that's what Wake is looking for tonight, obviously. I think Tom Walter in the press conference last night said they're hoping to get him through Tennessee's lineup twice.
Wow.
So, again, if he throws 7, I would be floored. I think the goal is to get him through 4 or 5 innings, and then you're talking about bringing in some of the guys that we haven't seen in a day or two.
Such as, give me what you think. And I don't mean to talk over you. I'm just very kind of pumped up for this thing and running on low sleep. So, and I apologize for that. And plus, I'm Italian, and it's a bad habit. I grew up the youngest of 6 kids, and in my house growing up, you had to fight for your right to party, or you weren't going to be heard. But Connor O'Neill of Deacon Illustrated, so they start with the transfer from Virginia Tech and then script it. What do you think happens next?
I think they probably go to Duncan Marston, who is a freshman who had a late start to the season. He was unavailable for the first maybe month and a half to 2 months, but he's pitched well in certain spots lately. Joe Areola will be on the board. He probably had the worst outing of any Wake pitcher in Knoxville so far. He faced 2 batters, I believe it was Miami, Ohio, on Saturday. He threw 9 pitches and only one of them was a strike and got the quick hook. That has more or less been his MO over the last few weeks to a month, but he started the season as a weekend starter. So the stuff is there. And then like so many of these guys, he's just been inconsistent. So if Wake throws him out there and it happens to be his night, you could see him theoretically going 2 or 3 middle to late innings in relief. There's a third name I'm blanking on right now who has been iffy. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
No, you're fine. You give me Green, you give me Marston, Areola. There's a chance we see the closer. You think for 1 inning, who is absolutely filthy nasty. I mean, of the performances that we saw from that staff yesterday, because a couple of those guys, if Tennessee would have taken some pitches, could have really leaked oil, and the walks could have come, but Tennessee cooperated and swung at bad balls, and that's college baseball. Who surprised you the most with their performance to get them to this spot?
Probably Matthew Dallas. I mean, I go back to Wake's ace, Blake Morningstar, who, again, on the subject of who's available tonight, Blake Morningstar could be available tonight for an inning or two. We might see both of these teams' Friday guys make cameo appearances in the late innings. That'd be something else. But Blake Morningstar doesn't pitch in 2 weeks, goes out there against Cincinnati in game 1 and gets lit up for 10 runs.
Hammered.
And has a season worst outing. Matthew Dallas, same thing, hasn't pitched in 2 weeks, goes out there and throws the game of his life to beat Cincinnati and to stave off elimination. That's the stuff that you just can't script. So that's the one yesterday where it's like, oh my God, he's mowing through the third, fourth, fifth innings. Wake is padding its lead. I mean, this is everything Wake could have hoped for that they got out of Matthew Dallas. And you saw them trying to stretch him as long as he went. 115 pitches was 20 more than his previous season high.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just that performance yesterday kind of, you can't take momentum from game 1 to game 2 of a doubleheader, especially when you're not playing the same team. But it really felt like that performance from him set the tone for the whole day.
Well, and what's ironic, too, obviously, is he's a Tennessee transfer. It's kind of lost in the fine print, but they didn't have to use any of those other arms that we ended up seeing in that game. And if Cincinnati would have hit the baseball, probably one or two of those guys would have had to been used just to get to Tennessee if you'd have had a close game there. But that's basically that erased a game. Dallas went out there and ate a whole game and shoved in a field where, he kind of left because he didn't feel like he was going to get an opportunity or got an opportunity or God knows why. But, he shoved. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And he put his team in a position to advance. Bino, Jeff Henderson, jump in here. Game 7 tonight. It's a 6 o'clock Eastern time start. And we are breaking it down scientifically with Connor O'Neill, who's nice enough to join us. Go ahead, Bino. Jeff, jump in.
Hey, Connor, appreciate your time. Who's someone on the offensive side? Let's flip over there. Who's someone in Wake's lineup that needs to come on tonight if they're going to win a Game 7?
Oh, boy. I kind of look at their 4-hole hitter who Tony mentioned, Jack Winay. It felt like in that first game against Cincinnati, he stranded a ton of runners, and that had more or less been the case in their loss in the ACC tournament and a couple weeks before then. And all of a sudden, he's hitting 2-out doubles. He's driving the ball. He's really locked in at the plate. And, you look at just the numbers of the 5-hole hitter, Dalton Wentz. I think he's led off 3 innings in Knoxville with a home run. Well, the reason your 5-hole hitter is leading off innings is because your 4-hole hitter is making the third out of the innings. And you never want that, right? So Jack Winay has come on strong. I would look at him as kind of the linchpin of Wake's lineup, and he needs to keep things going, keep coming up with clutch hits. But really, you talk about those top 5 or 6 guys. They're going to be locked in no matter who Tennessee throws to their spots in the lineup. Matt Scannell, Merrick Houston, Cade Lewis, Winay, and Dalton Wentz, and probably Luke Costello behind him. They go freshman in the 5-6 spots. So when they're getting production from those guys, they can put up big numbers.
The kid that hit the long home run against Cincinnati had a couple great swings last night too. He's looking very comfortable.
Yeah.
But let's go.
Those guys, they're, you know how it goes. I mean, freshmen at this point, they've gotten 150 to 200 at-bats against college pitching. They're not exactly the same freshmen that they were in February and March.
No doubt about it. Thus see Levi Clark last night, who left the yard, that 2-run homer that tied the game. Brian Hartman, jump in here with Connor O'Neill, who joins.
Yeah, I wanted to get your, if Wake Forest has had when was their last 3-game winning streak? Tennessee's last 3-game winning streak was in mid-April. And do you think they can continue the momentum? Have they shown the ability to do that over 3 games during the season much?
That's a tough one. They did have a late 3-game winning streak, I want to say. I'm trying to think who their second to last series of the season was. I think it was Pitt at home. And they won the series finale, and then they went to Louisville and won the first 2 games, which looks more impressive winning 2 at Louisville now that they're already in the Supers. But yeah, it is a team that certainly, if you asked me in February and March when I was talking to Tony off the air, they started 18-3. It certainly looked like a team that could sustain some momentum for long stretches at that point in the year. They have not looked like that throughout the whole season, but that's the thing where we talked about this on, I think, when did we talk? Thursday or Friday last week. It's a brand new season. So whatever Wake did or didn't do in the last 2 months to 4 months, some of it matters, but a lot of it doesn't. And it's a team that right now has confidence, and that's what they'll continue to try to ride.
Connor, I appreciate your time. What do you suspect happens tonight? Because it feels like a real coin flip to me. We just had Chris Burke on from ESPN, who went here and holds a lot of the offensive records. And Burke, he said, hey, man, this thing, he said, you look at Wake's team, and there's so much talent. And Tennessee, obviously, Vegas has Tennessee as like third or fourth best odds to win the whole thing. So, this looks like a really close game. What do you think happens?
Yeah, I go to the old adage. I mean, I can't help but think there's going to be some kind of error or some inning when a staff or a pitcher or two cannot locate and can't find the zone, and walks pile up, and those free 90s come back to bite somebody. And I'll say this, I do think every team in the country can say this, but I think it's a little more important for Wake. I think they're a team that has to score first. I think they're a team that when they get behind, it hasn't been like this the whole year, but for a lot of the season, it's felt like when they fall behind, they go into a little bit more of a funk than they need to. That's why, one of the biggest things that happened last night was when Tennessee goes up 2-1, Wake comes back with 3 in the bottom half of that inning, and Wake never trailed again after that. They were trailing on the scoreboard for 12 minutes elapsed time. So I think if Wake can get out early, it greatly increases their odds of pulling off the regional comeback and winning tonight.
And, to your point, one thing that really aided in that is we got an infielder that just likes to throw the ball around, and that's just, again, those types of things will really get you in these championship level moments. And Connor, it's great talking with you. Anything else you'd care to add here on the way out? And tell the living listener where they can find you. And, man, I really, really appreciate you jumping in here and adding some context to what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Deacons Illustrated is at wakeforest.rivals.com. Got a story up on last night's game. I've got some stuff on the message board about what Wake's pitching situation looks like for tonight. Basically everything that I just said on here. I don't have much to add other than kind of jealous of you guys that get to go out to the ballpark tonight. I'll just be sitting at home watching on ESPN2 and listening to Wake's radio call.
Amen to that, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
Great talking to you. And, he brings up a great point. Having this in our community, this is Tennessee's final game of the year at home. That's it. We know that. They're at Arkansas now. That place with a 6 o'clock start. Hopefully, Bino is full. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's going to lay on top of the workday for some people, and I've already had a couple people reach out to me and invite me to go, which is a sign that, folks are looking for people to go, because if you're inviting me to go, you're desperate. The question becomes, Beanstar, do you agree with him that, because it felt like Wake scoring first last night with the ding-dong really, really, really helped them. They look like a different team than the one we saw with Cincinnati in the noon window on Friday. When you're on the road, I think scoring first, when you've got a staff that has trouble locating at times, it's probably a big deal for them to score first tonight, Beanstar.
Yeah, and I think he's right in that it's more important for them probably than it is for us. But, as you said earlier, this is this is new ground for Tennessee. And this is a Tennessee team that hasn't been very good in rubber games at all this year. And it'll be interesting to see how that transfers to an elimination game. If they have the same issues, or if the fact that they could be eliminated actually focuses them more. So we're gonna learn something new tonight, something we've never seen.
Hey, Brian, I'm getting ready to open the phones up for the first time today at 865-200-5402, and I want to thank Connor O'Neill for joining us on your TLD Logistics Hotline and Chris Burke in Hour 1. I'm going to ask you what I asked you off the air. I'm going to ask Bino the same thing, and I'm going to ask the living listener. Tell me what's going to happen here tonight, Brian. What's your feeling about what we're about to see?
I'm not very confident about a win, but I don't think it's a sure loss either. I can't say I'm confident either way, win or lose, for either team. It feels to me like a complete and total coin flip that could land on its edge. That's how close it is. And the slightest mistake committed by either team could prove to be very, very costly. But I do think Tennessee, hopefully they get to be the home team on the scoreboard. And I do think playing at home could be a tremendous advantage, especially when you're starting at night, or a 6 p.m., not at night, but a 6 p.m. start, evening. So I guess if you told me to pick one team, I'd pick Tennessee, but I'm not picking it with extreme confidence. I certainly wouldn't bet much money on it.
865-200-5402. I want to know from you, the living listener, how you feel, man. You're the living fan. And lady, what is your sense of what we're going to see tonight? Bino, what's your sense?
Tony, I don't think that this Tennessee team has done anything after the first 20 games to give you great confidence, because there just hasn't been much. There hasn't been the level of consistency that we're accustomed to with this program. I do think, even though they haven't been a great home team, I think this is a great night to be at home and to be the home team on the scoreboard. And I think it's a huge advantage to be playing your fourth game in 4 days as opposed to your fifth game in 4 days when it comes to available pitching.
You know, the irony of all this is going to be, if Wake figures out a way to get through this thing, that Dallas kid is going to should get a game ball.
Yes.
Because he saved their bacon yesterday.
As good as he was, and you're exactly right, Tony, as good as he was, that still took him out of an opportunity to pitch again in an elimination game. So
no doubt
it did have an effect, but it didn't have because he pitched so well, it didn't have the effect that it could have.
Well, and the odd thing is, right, is that he may not even see the team that the dugout he was in last year, and he won't see him today because he threw too many pitches yesterday. He's off the board. Arvidsson's off the board. I mean, there are certain guys that are just off the board here. The question is, the Doyle kid's a nut, okay? I believe Tony Vitello when he said Doyle went to him, because Doyle did the same thing a couple weeks ago on that Sunday and said, I want the ball. I don't know if I give him the ball. I know the season's on the line tonight. The kid's a first-round draft pick. A kid's got nothing to prove to me, nothing to prove to you. That kid is a maniac, okay? You talk about a guy that wants to play baseball. Some of these pitchers, you know, they want to protect, and I get it, because you only throw so many throws in your arm. Nobody blames anybody for this, and it's a money sport, right? You know, at the next level, it's at this level, NIL-wise, it's a poverty sport. At the next level, those guys are paid too much. But that's another story for another day. The truth is, if ever there was a guy that wanted the baseball, I believe 100%, Bino, that psycho Doyle wants the baseball.
There's no question.
That
guys
kid
like him
is a psycho.
Want the ball, Tony. But that doesn't mean you hand it to him.
Bino, if you had a pick, would you not love to see the Yankees with their name called next to that guy? Because I think he's going to be a hell of a player at that level.
Yes, I'll have no problem, Tony, if Liam Doyle is a Yankee.
And by the way, that shortstop that plays for Wake Forest is a world-class baseball player. Okay? He looks like it. He swings the bat like it. He fields like it. He is wow. Wow. We'll come back on the other side. I want to hear from you. We got full bank of calls. I want to know in a few short hours who's going to live on, who's going to fight on. Is Tennessee going to end up at Wake? Going to end up going down to Arkansas, which will be a classic at the end of this week, or is it going to be Wake Forest? It's history in Knoxville tonight. We've never seen this. It's a Game 7 in Knoxville. We take your calls on it right after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
It's back. You asked for it and you got it. All You Can Eat Wednesdays is back with your Knoxville Smokies. The most delicious Wednesday dinner. All you can eat pulled pork, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, Uncle Ray's potato chips, popcorn, Pepsi products, and more. Is anyone else getting hungry? But we aren't finished yet. This week we've also got Thirsty Thursday, Princess Night and fireworks on Friday, 90s Night and the Toy Story game, and fireworks on Saturday. And our Sunday day game is a huge mascot party. Get your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent.
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
T to the B back with you. Shout out Tim Corbin, who got absolutely roasted today in the Tennessean by Gentry Estes. If you get a chance to check that out, do so. Corbin went off on this Gerson lady again the other night, Bino. This guy likes picking on this lady reporter.
And I think that's what we saw with Estes' article. He's sticking up for his colleague because he better be winning.
Ripped him. Bino, what about Corbin asking the lady if she's ever played postseason baseball? A woman.
I mean, you can't do that, Tony. I mean, it's obviously these coaches are just absolutely raw, especially right after a gut punch loss, a loss that you know is really, really critical to your season. So I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. If he'd have just said, hey, listen, some nights you get big hits and some nights you don't, and that's baseball. But, I mean, you can't ask her if she's ever played a game in the regionals and then bring up that ancillary BS stuff that he threw in there too. I mean, you did, the other things he said were okay, but you can't throw that in there.
He said to her, "No, don't you go looking for any of that other BS." And he said the word to her, like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys, like a fighting married couple here? Like, what, did I miss something? Let's go back to our phones on the TLD Logistics phone line. We're a few hours away. Hey, Tennessee's fate, it rests in the balance. This team has already had a great year to get to where they are. I'm saying that for the record. Some people have lost total perspective. Look, Vanderbilt's home, Texas home. You're saying, well, you're just right there, buddy. No. When you win a national championship, it's hard to get into the postseason next year, let alone get in this spot. And then to get to a super regional would be a great season. My man Nega Dave said that last night, and he's right. If you get to the super regional round after winning a national championship, that is a great year. A great year. And I know it's been kind of choppy at times, and it's been sort of a wild watch, so to speak. But let's go to the phones. This segment's all about you, and let's get our first call in. Hi, welcome in.
Well, Tony, Goldie here.
Hey, Goldie, welcome in.
Just wanted to just to chime in and say that me and Mama Goldie is going to be there tonight. So we will be there live and in living color, cheering on and looking for a win tonight, looking for a big win.
Well, I know you won't get cheated because I've seen you at games, and you are a living brain donor.
Well, I'm row 3. I'd say they'll be able to hear me.
Goldie's in row 3. Will you be standing while they're pitching and making people around you stand up? Will you do that?
That's literally my favorite thing in the world to do is to heckle pitchers. I think that's my job in life, I think.
We need a lot of that tonight. We need a lot of that tonight because that's where the home crowd can really come into play, especially when these guys have trouble throwing strikes to begin with. Now, their starter's not like that, but anybody they go to in their bullpen, and you heard our O'Connor earlier in the hour, anybody they go to in their bullpen has trouble with the base on balls. It's just been a sore spot for them.
Well, I'm fired up.
Guys, I think it'll be interesting to see the reaction, Joe, of our crowd tonight. I mean, basically, it's a first for them too. All of you in attendance, it's just haven't seen an elimination game in the region, Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
That's another reason we were going to go. The tickets are very affordable, so that also kind of lends to your idea of everybody wanting to bring you today. So that.
I knew when I got two calls. I knew when I got two calls this morning, like before 9:30. I'm like, "What are you having trouble? You having trouble filling your poor chair, big boy?" No, we really want you. I'm like, you really want me? I didn't get invited all weekend. What do you mean you really want me? I wasn't born yesterday.
I didn't look too much over the weekend. I had stuff going on, but I just kind of happened to look today, and I found that set for basically $60 a piece. So
nice.
I can't not do that at that price. You know, that's
well,
no matter what happens, that's worth the price of admission.
I'll tell you this: the people that went last night got treated to a really high quality baseball game. Bino, I know we make it about winning and losing, and rightfully so, but man, that was a high quality college baseball game we saw last night.
Really good baseball. Hey, guys, is the only elimination game in Lindsey Nelson Stadium of the Vitello era the Notre Dame game?
No. Last year they played. Didn't they play a game?
Evansville and Notre Dame.
We forget about Evansville. We forget about Evansville, don't we? But yeah, Evansville won that first game.
I'd forgotten that.
Second game.
Forced us to a game 3 by winning the second game. That's right.
I'd forgotten that. Thanks.
Sure.
Well, I just want to second the squeeze play thing and watching all that stuff there because I know we texted a little bit, and I mean that was just some of the most fun thing in the world to watch over the weekend was just kind of getting into those games, and you get into some of them that were really good. You'd switch over to the game itself so you could kind of get a little bit better view on it and maybe put it on the main screen, so to speak. But that's just that's one of the great things that there is right there. That rivals only Red Zone as far as some things that the entertainment value of that.
But it's even more fun than Red Zone because those guys sit there and laugh at themselves. Like one of our listeners, put up there. He said Adam Gold, and then Burke's over there explaining. Yeah, they call you Adam Gold in Knoxville. Like they're cracking on him, and Kyle Peterson's cracking on Burke's grammar, and they're kind of joking around. And because when you're in this studio, I know this. When we do those long post-game shows after games, sooner or later your inhibitions go down, and then you're just hanging out with your buddies and you're goofing on each other. Burke told me they did 12-hour days. I mean, how do you do that?
It's like it's like Christmas, Black Friday of the college baseball thing. It's just like I'm sure they just love it and just eat it all up kind of thing, So I'm sure it's kind of something that they look forward to. It's a pride of passion, and it's just something that I'm sure they, the long days are kind of worth it because especially when you've had a weekend like this where there's just so many upsets, and it happens every year, but it just seems like this year was even more so than. You got Pine Bluff, Arkansas, going to a regional final. You got the right states of the world. That's
great.
It's what. Like what you said though earlier about all that being gone out of the basketball deal, it's still alive and well in the baseball.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, and listen, when they go to 34 scholarships, the sport's going to get crazier because now these teams can't stash players anymore. And I'm going to tell you something about baseball. You look at Major League Baseball, guys come from all over the place. I'll never forget what Randy Dalton told me. He said, "Yeah, we got this guy Cishek up here at Carson Newman. And man, he's found something." And Bino, that kid pitched Major League Baseball like 10 years throwing that sidearm ball. That Steve Cishek guy. That's just the nature of the game. It's just, Bino, those kids from Texas, San Antonio, how much you think it meant to them to put it on Texas, not once, but twice in their building. Twice being started.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
That Texas team to top of college sports all year. Here's the thing about the sport, and this is the thing that concerns me about our team. When you go 3, 4, and 5, or 3, 2, 3, 4 in 3, 4, 5 in your lineup, and those guys disappear like they have this year at times. And I'm not singling anybody out, but it's just the way the sport is. at times we don't hit enough to play championship baseball. Vanderbilt did not hit enough to play championship baseball. I was saying on here last week, I thought they weren't going to get out of their region, and it was for that reason. Plus, they got a stacked region against them, whereas LSU, if LSU loses to that team with the regional that they gave them and they lose tonight, they ought to do 1,000 push-ups on the field tonight after that game for everybody to see.
Murray State lasting longer than Kentucky in this tournament. There's another one.
Matt was a little gleeful over that. But when you don't hit the ball like Texas and Vanderbilt don't hit the ball, and us at times.
Yeah. No, that's right.
We come and go offensively. Those teams don't live long in the postseason. College baseball, you better be able to score runs.
Yes.
It's a way different game than the pros. The pros is a pitching and defense game in the playoffs. This thing here is you better be able to score some runs or you're going home. As we get our next call in, hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony Bino, it's Taylor.
Hey, T.
I'm gonna break down what I think is going to happen tonight. Vitello is not going to panic. He's going to stay with his veterans. You're going to see Chapman, as always, in right field. You're going to see Bargo in left field. No lineup changes. I predict a big night or a big RBI night for both of those seasoned veterans. And the law of averages are going to work out. They're going to come up strong. I'll tell you what, though. I think you would agree. Coach Vitello is a gentleman and a scholar with the media. He actually answers questions. He provides respect. Now, he'll occasionally give you a little Italian disrespect, or not even disrespect, joking.
We have fun with each
and
other.
Whatnot.
Yeah, we have fun with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all got a different relationship. So that's joking aside. But you would never see Coach Vitello pull a Corbin or a Sully. I would be embarrassed if I was a fan of Vanderbilt. I'd be embarrassed if I was a fan of Vanderbilt for a variety of reasons, not the least of which how Corbin treats that female beat writer. But their little, the stuff they do in the outfield with the non-starters between every inning is just silly. The Vandy boys' nickname is horrendous. But I tell you what, Corbin and Sully should be fined and suspended for their shenanigans. They embarrassed the game. They embarrassed the SEC, Tony and Bino.
How about Sully was so bad that the coach from over there at Coastal basically said, what is this guy doing? Our grounds crew over here, they work hard. This guy's a working man. Come on, O'Sullivan. This guy's a working man.
I've got major respect for the head coach of Coastal Carolina for addressing that. He should have addressed it. He did.
Yes.
Ripped him. Deservedly so.
Yes. Hey, no NIL when you get in this baseball. When you get between those white lines, you can come from a sexy program with all kinds of money and a really good stadium and all the bells and whistles, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you on the baseball field. That's what happened to Florida this weekend. And that's why this is a fun sport, Taylor, because you never know what's going to happen.
I mean, it's an incredible sport, and I hope some of our fans that are the Twidiots and the folks that are spewing venom at players and this team
gosh, man,
will catch their ignorant breath and look at LSU getting beaten by Little Rock. Look at Texas exiting the entire building by UT San Antonio, the little redheaded stepchild of Texas. And then look at Vanderbilt, the number 1 seed. They've always got Hoover, but they're done. So, what you said, Tony, I'm proud of this team if they get beat tonight. If they make it to Supers, this is an incredible coaching job for everything that the national champions lost. And Vitello, he made it his mission not to have, to use your words, a slide in 25. And I give him major props. We've got the best coach in the absolute country. He's worth every $3.2 million penny. He's earned it. He's put us on the map. He's given us respect. And I'll take a once every 10-year chest bump suspension versus the crap that Sully and Corbin spew out there. It's a disgrace. Tony, one other thing on the way out. You know me, I don't miss a game at Lindsey Nelson. I was appalled. I was embarrassed. I was disgusted in the bottom of the ninth inning, no outs, and a bunch of clowns, hundreds of so-called fans hightailing it out of Lindsey Nelson. That makes no sense, Tony. It was not a late game. The weather was great at that point in the evening. It's a tie ball game. It's a regional. I don't get it, Tony. I try not to tell people how to believe or act or feel, but I'm sorry. That was an embarrassment, and I wish those clowns would give up their tickets to somebody that's going to actually attend the game, actually show some emotion and support the team. That's pathetic. Tony, GBO, go Vols. They're going to take it to the Demon Deacons. By the way, that's a horrendous nickname. They should be embarrassed by their nickname. The Volunteers are going to shove it and show them how national champions play ball. GBO.
Thank you.
Is Demon Deacon an oxymoron?
I don't know, Brian. We could. I don't know because
it's better than Snake and Deacons, I guess.
I was thinking about the swinging. What was the guy that called himself in town? The swinging. Somebody will help me out with that. Oh, God. What's his? Oh, man. I'm having a. Anyway, if you want to jump in, 865-200-5402. We'll do a quick TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime, but it won't be long because we have post-game duties tonight. And I'm in here helping Will. Hey, Bino, I couldn't help myself last night. I had to jump on at the end of the Texas game, and first time since Will's been doing this, I jumped in there with him because I wanted to watch with Texas, with him and Matt watch San Antonio close out Texas. The sport's wild. It's a great, great, great brand of baseball. It's an acquired taste. Look, I grew up watching Major League Ball. The imperfections, the fielding errors, that stuff, the balls that get to the backstop, that stuff can get tough to watch at times. The decisions. But I'll tell you this. The spirit with which the game is played, the way the game matters. I just want to say one thing, and then we'll go back to the phones. Eric Waddell was in the stadium yesterday. He's a Cincinnati fan. At the end of the game yesterday, that the kid from Cincinnati, that fifth-year player who played his last game, flirted with 400 this year and fell just short of it and played his last game. And the manager there is in his second year at Cincinnati. The manager, when that game was over, after that kid had his at-bat, started to cry. Or he was crying during that kid's at-bat because it was like in the ninth inning. And then the kid, they showed him, he reached base, I think, on a walk. And they showed him over there, and tears were streaming down his face. Let me tell you something. This thing matters to these people. And as a sports fan, when I see a coach cry for a kid, or like when Rick Barnes was crying this year for his seniors, and you see that stuff in this sport, because I know it's gotten exhausting with the NIL stuff, and I get it. But this is still about people. And this is still, the college baseball is a great game. That aluminum bat with how those exit velos on the ball, it's a dangerous game. You just never know what's going to happen. But I wanted to say kudos to Cincinnati's manager and kudos to that kid for crying on the field yesterday. That there is crying in baseball, and I do have time for it. There's a time and a place for everything, as my mom used to say to me. And now, before we go back to the phones, time for me to remind you that my friends at VIP Play, taking action on tonight's Tennessee game. Unlike Friday, I don't have any guidance here because I have no idea what's going to happen in this one. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to take a flyer on Arkansas Little Rock to get out of their deal tonight. But if you want to put yourself together a little parlay, you can do that. Remember, daily profit boost, 25% on Major League Baseball, 3 picks or more. NBA playoffs, the no danger wager, 50% of your stake back and bonus bets if your wager loses when the final gets underway. And then college baseball in this tournament, 20% on the baseball tournament profit boost, 3 picks or more. Our parlay hit the other night and hit for a lot of people, I was told. So that's fun. That's fun here. We're having fun over at VIP Play. So go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. You make your first bet $5 or more, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Use the promo code TNTony when you go. Again, use the promo code TNTony when you go. And remember, live always, 200 leagues all around the world. There's always something to get action on. And I did say 200-plus leagues around the world. VIP Play is setting the trend, ladies and gentlemen. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789. And 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. Tonight, Garza Law extra innings. As soon as that game goes final, we had a football-size audience last night after the game. I was telling Will that Friday, kind of a little bit of a slow-arriving crowd on Friday. So I jumped in there and got on the phone lines with him. Saturday, a little more. Last night was wild. Tonight, win, lose, or draw, is going to be a wild post-game show, so make sure you stay with us. You can find that over at tclub.team or on any of our socials. I would encourage you to go over to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will get it as soon as we go live. It'll come up on your screen. But we'll do a TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. We've got a full bank of calls. We'll get the calls in. We'll hear more from Bino and Bry. I want to thank Mr. O'Connor, who joined us earlier, Chrissy Boy Burke, who joined us as well. Berkey, good luck to you in your campaign as you run for office in college baseball, and I hope you achieve the highest honors. In the meantime, I want to say G to the B to the O, and let's get John Curry out of here. What do you say? We love you. Appreciate you. Let's get him out of here again.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Bry, is John Curry here? Have you seen him at all on the socials?
I can't say one way or another. I would assume that he is.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime.
I asked Laura yesterday.
TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Go look for a guy with funny sneakers on. See if you can find him.
And now let's go to the guys with today's edition of TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime.
And Mod Clothing. Oh, Bino. You adroitly pointed out, Beanstar, that the truth is these Game 7 deals, man. I like Tony Vitello in spots like this, Bino. I'm not sure I like his baseball team this year, but I like his approach in games like this. I think the more relaxed team has a chance to do good things in spots like this tonight, Bino.
Yeah, I agree, Tony. I think his team knows that he's got their back. A lot of that is frustrating to us as we watch and we see guys struggle through long periods and nothing's done about it. But a lot of times that keeps them focused in the game and they come up at the biggest of times. I hope Taylor's exactly right on what he said about a couple of players tonight. And you were talking about just how special college baseball is. And it is, Tony. I mean, most of us that grew up with baseball grew up with very, very few games being absolutely critical. You get into the way the season is condensed. There's so many critical games in season. Then you get into postseason, and after day one, you have a whole lot more Game 7s than you do games that you got a chance to lose and still survive. So every game you watch, and then about half of these players, it could be the last baseball game they ever play. So
shout out to Billy. Well,
really interesting.
Well, it is. It's really interesting. It's great. And to see the kid from Cincinnati cry his eyes out last night, because his now he's going to get shot in pro ball. He's a 5-year player, but the kid hit 400 this year. I mean, kid can play. It meant everything for him to wear that uniform. Griffin Merritt, who we had on the show last week, Bino, told me an incredible story. You weren't with us Friday. Check this out. So I helped Griffin find a couple of tickets. He's studying dentistry at Ohio State. He told me off the air, he said, Tony, I played 4 years at Cincinnati, and I'm from there. I love that place. He said, I came to Tennessee. Not only did I fall in love with it, he said, but I've got an uncle that's coming down to watch the Bearcats and the Vols this weekend. He said he and I share a bond over Tennessee sports now. He said, I love the Vols in all these sports. You know, you don't think about that in the transfer era because you think about, well, these guys are mercenaries. That kid drove 5 hours to get down here to watch some baseball. He said, I still keep in contact with who he called V. He said, my uncle is freaked out by how much he just loves the Tennessee Vols. And I think that's a cool thing, Bino. I think it's, in the NIL era, it's worth repeating those stories when you hear those stories. It's worth repeating those things. 865-200-5402 is the number. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us, let's get our next call in. It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
How my friends and compatriots are doing today?
Hey, Lynn, welcome in. Were you at the game last night, Lynn?
No, I wasn't. My health does not allow me to go to many games.
Oh, man.
I'm there in spirit, and the flag's there, but I'm just not able with. I don't want to go through my list of ailments. It's just hard for me. But I'm watching it. I'm watching it with a group of people. But I make a few games a year now, and I'm happy to do that.
Right on, brother. Right on.
And Aiden Burrows just got out of a bases-loaded jam, and it's 0-0 after 3. Titansville, you clown. I said our Lady Vols.
How about the Lady Vols fighting back to get to the spot they're in? How about them overcoming what I thought, well, no offense to Karen Weekly, but that's just some awful managing on Thursday, which put him in that spot. No offense to her. I mean, you just can't do that. You pitch to the one gal that can hit the ball out of the park. But for them to come back and house Florida and run rule them, get a day off, respond with a gutty win against UCLA yesterday, just a courageous, gutty win. And W. Lynn, you know, your brother's a long-standing umpire and loves the game of softball. How about them not having the balls to call that girl out yesterday from UCLA when she missed home plate, W. Lynn?
Yeah, that was completely ridiculous. If you watch Major League games, and y'all watch more of them than I do, the umpire is standing there making sure that he touches the plate. I kept rewinding the play. The umpire was not in sight. He must have been back there at the backstop or something. And then for them to review it for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And say, due to appendage 9, that's what I call it, or whatever, you know.
It's an appendage,
the girl
all right.
didn't touch the plate. She was aided by her umpire illegally, but we cannot review the play. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Did you hear that, Bino? So she was aided by one of her players. The players saw that she missed home plate because she jumped into them. They pushed her back, Bino, so she would touch home plate. Karen Weekly saw the thing in real time, pulled the rule book out, walked out there and said, hey, she missed the base. And you cannot aid somebody. Yesterday in Tennessee's game, again, I'm back to these college sports stuff, or 2 days ago, when the Vols played Cincinnati, and Elander's over there on third base, guys, can Elander grab a guy so he can't run like he did on the hidden ball trick when the pitcher, when they pretended like the ball got by somebody? I'm just asking out loud here because I don't know if I've ever seen a third base coach reach out and touch a guy so he wouldn't move. Do you guys do we have a stance on that? Because I think both those things are illegal. Personally,
I'll be honest. I wouldn't want to win a game that way.
Lady Vols?
Maybe I'm in the minority. I wouldn't want to win a game like that where
I would.
You give up a game-tying home run and then they get called out because you win the game because they didn't step on home plate. I
wouldn't want to lose a game like that, though, Bri. What about awarding her the home base when she didn't touch? Bino, take a stand on this, Bino. If she doesn't touch home plate, would you want to win a game like that, Bino?
If they've broken a rule, Tony,
thank you.
I'm winning a game any way I can win it.
Thank you.
And the third base coach is not supposed.
No,
I don't know that he aided his progress.
He touched him
more than went over there and just touched him. I don't think a third base coach is supposed to, or any base coach is supposed to lay a hand on base.
And if I was in Cincinnati's dugout, I would have gone out there and I would have said, "Now I want to know what you guys think of him touching him." But they missed it. Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee.
But look. The first year Monica Abbott was in the World Series, they just changed the rules. It used to be a straight double elimination tournament. We get in that thing, we beat Arizona, we're undefeated, and they have 2 losses, yet the thing's not over because we do this 2 out of 3 nonsense at the end. So I'll take anything, Brian. I don't care what's going on. I want to win one in softball.
And they got the pitcher. They got the pitcher to do it. And enough hitting on that team, and this field is not great. It's a lot like baseball this year. There's not a
coaches
super
got
team
ejected
out there.
Where,
Bri?
In the Lady Vol, one of the Lady Vol coaches
might have got ejected.
Mail got ejected for, I guess he didn't like the strike call.
Just now?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. I love it, man. I want some controversy. I'm not looking at it.
I don't know the guy's name. I apologize. I don't know the guy's name, but one of the assistant coaches.
I'm trying to concentrate in here right now. I'm not looking at it. I'm trying to do the best overtime I can.
Let's talk about the game tonight. We did beat Wake Forest in a game 7 in 2001.
That's right.
After they'd beat us. And we beat East Carolina 2-0 in the first super regional ever. That was 2001. And it was Wake Forest. We lost to them 10-3. Then we came back and beat them 6-3. Do you remember that, Bino?
I think this is the only 4th meeting that these 2 teams have played, their programs have ever played each other. And 2 of them were in the 01 regional, like you mentioned. And then the 3rd one was yesterday, and the 4th one will be tonight.
Hey, Bino,
the finals of a regional.
W. Lynn, you're asking the wrong guy. I couldn't even remember that Evansville beat us once, whenever that was last year. So, sorry.
Now, a bit of history about 2001. We were the number 2 seed, and Wake Forest was the number 1 seed in the regional, but their facilities were not good enough to host a regional. So we got it as the number 2 seed in that region. That would never happen today, but that's just the way things were back then.
The good old days, man. W. Lynn, a win or a loss tonight, what happens?
It's a win if the crowd shows up and yells. Show up, stand up. If you're not going, I know some people not going, get your tickets to somebody else, especially if they're young and ready to show up. I am so proud of this team. We won a national title, and they're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt at the 1st of June.
They're in the hunt and in the mix, and I appreciate you. As Filmer used to say, in the hunt and in the mix. Let's go back to the phones. TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, welcome in.
Hey, it's Richard.
Hey, buddy.
All right. Well, hey, first of all, man, just throw a little shade, at Vandy. I think we all saw them after they ruled us last week and then won the championship. There is no doubt that mentally they left it all down in Hoover, and winning the SEC just completely spent them going into the regional. So, because you know how everybody talks, do you want to just get out of there, or do you want to try to win it? Do you spend it? And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. And there's no doubt, man. So hopefully we win tonight, and then I get a chance to see all the Tennessee baseball posts on Facebook. and kind of sending shade like we're still playing and you're sitting at home, because I didn't like all the Facebook posts that were going out from Vandy baseball after they shut us out, Tony, 10-0. So we got to win tonight so we can send out those posts about we're still playing and y'all are sitting.
Well, and it comes back to this too, right? In that sport, it's great to be good in the regular season. Really, these next 2 weeks are what really matters in that deal, and particularly this weekend. You got to get through this weekend to give yourself a chance.
Oh, absolutely. And, first of all, on the game yesterday, and I know some people would be like, after Dean threw the ball wild like that, they had a couple of hits, and, people would say, well, okay, all 3 runs would have scored, so it really didn't cost us. Well, guess what, man? It did cost us, because you had still runners at first and second. When the batter is coming to the plate, in his mind, he's always thinking about double play. Am I going to hit in double play? I don't need to hit in the double play. When you airmail the ball like that, you just fed that team with more meat, man, and watch their confidence grow and the batter at the plate grow. And they played upon that and got those 3 runs. So that era, something like that, man, it can be devastating, and it ended up being, because you never know. Again, like I said, that batter could come up there with a little tighter thing. I don't want to hit into that double play, and he hits into it. And so, that was huge, Tony. Little things like that in baseball go a long way.
Well, Bino and I were just talking off the air, Richard, and it's interesting you'd bring that up, because Bino, the next 2 guys absolutely hammered the ball against Arvidsson, and that just continues the trend here of when things like that happen, the pitchers will, even in a great outing by Arvidsson, but the pitchers will not pick up those fielders with this team.
Yeah, it's just been that kind of year, Tony. We've had and there's no question that Curley has had extreme difficulties fielding the baseball, regardless of where he's been this year. But we don't pitch through things like we used to either, because those were the 2 most barreled balls he gave up the entire outing. And he was grinding out there. I'm proud of what he did, but it's a team thing.
And that's exactly right. It is a team thing. That's a really good way of putting that, because it was right on cue. And Richard, you're so right. You're allowing the batter now to freewheel. He knows, look, I'm going to hit my pitch here, and he smoked that ball in the gap. And the thing about Curley's error, and we were talking about it earlier, that I can't figure out is he fielded the ball cleanly. Just hold the ball, walk back to the pitcher, like you've seen a million times. It's not, why in the world are you throwing the ball there?
Tony, you and I talked a little bit about this. I'm sorry, Richard. I don't mean to hijack your comment. You and I talked about this a little bit off air. I think Curley has got to the point where his struggles in the field have made him try to do things that he's incapable of doing, that anyone's incapable of doing, of making plays that aren't there. That's just what happens when it gets in your head. It gets in your head out there fielding just like it does at the plate, and it's hard to get out.
More power to Tony. I would not have that kid on the field playing the field when I see a play like that. More power to Tony. More power to Tony, Richard. But I would, if it's me, he's not on that field tonight in Game 7.
You know the other pivotal was, I think, was it the 7th inning? I think when we got 3 walks in an inning and we didn't score. How do you get 3 walks in an inning, Tony, and you don't score?
This team
strike out 3 times.
I love this team because the next guy up, first pitch swung. You literally have a guy that cannot throw strikes. I know he can't throw strikes. You know he can't throw strikes. We all know he can't throw strikes, and we're first pitch swinging, Richard. In what world In what world do you do that? In what world?
I don't know, because all I know is when we have 3 walks in an inning, Tony, when we walk another team 3 times an inning, we always get hammered.
Our ball's going in the gap. That's exactly right.
And we got nothing out of it but 3 strikeouts. And so, okay, enough of last night. You just got to, hey, it's a clean slate now. I'm like Bino. To me, there's no reason that this team, one, is not focused. They will be. We know they'll be focused. They should be loose. We have the advantage. We got 3 SEC arms that's pitched all year and has been a part of the SEC play every weekend.
We got 3 that hadn't thrown yet. Huge advantage for us that there's no film in this tournament right now on those 3 guys. And Wake Forest is going to throw a lot of guys out there throwing a lot of innings. And so there's no reason unless our freshmen are just big-eyed and they just can't get it over the plate, we should win this game tonight, man, because we have so much more pitching left than them that is fresh. And like I said, we should win this game.
Thank you, brother. The problem is the Krenzel guy got mono and haven't been the same. That's a fact. With my hand up, Titans Bill. And my boy from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, he's just struggled. He has just struggled. Give me a prediction, guys. What do we see out of him tonight? What kind of outing does Coons? We see a good Coons, bad Coons, or somewhere in between, Bino? What do we see from him?
I think we're going to see good Coons tonight, Tony. A little bit more extended Coons than we're accustomed to.
Brian? I need him to pitch into the 5th. Can he do it?
I'll go along with Bino. That's what you got to have in these kind of postseason situations. Arvidsson gave it to him yesterday. He'll be if they can go on to win this series, what he did yesterday will be a key. Just the way that Chad Dallas did for Wake Forest on Sunday would be a key if they pull it out. I think Coons can actually do it.
Straight up shoved. Back to the phones we go.
And didn't let the home runs get him down. He went right back out there and gave him over 100 pitches.
Shoved.
And struck out. How many did he strike out? Like 11?
11 Ks. I tell you what, Bino, that cat's got some nasty, wicked stuff, man. He was painting the corners yesterday.
Yeah, he's been really impressive his last 2 outings, Tony. Really impressive.
Our closer could learn a lot from him in terms of, and I'm not a pitching coach, but man, you cannot groove balls. You just can't. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in.
Hey, Tony. Hey, guys. It's Holly.
Hey, Holly. Welcome in. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, too. Well, it's been a while last week, hadn't it? Oh, gosh. Yesterday, I was not a happy girl, but, kind of got a new perspective this morning and kind of was processing everything. And, I do think we'll win. I do think that'll happen, and I think it'll be close. And I think that we'll make it to, obviously, if we win today, we'll make it to the Supers. After that, I don't know. I'm not sure that we've got the stuff to do that this year, but I think we make it out. But I do have to say something, and I agree with W. Lynn. I can't believe that people won't fill that stadium up tonight. If I were within 2 hours of Knoxville today, I would be up there begging for a ticket. And there's so many people that can't get up there. And especially at that price for such a great game, it makes no sense to me. And I don't believe for 1 second that people that have that kind of money to buy those tickets can't get off from work an hour early if they're at work and not out of town work. I don't believe for 1 second they can't get their rear ends over to Lindsey Nelson and fill the seat and yell. It distresses me. It doesn't feel like they're true Vols, and I know that there's a lot of ways you can calculate how you are a Vol for life, but when I saw those people leaving the other night in mass from that game, I looked at it, I was like, what happened? I thought something had happened. There were so many people leaving, and then when I realized nothing had happened, and it wasn't late, there was no bad weather, nothing, I was furious. I thought, is this what these people do? And I thought it looked like old people, young people. It looked like everybody. So I can't blame it on any one group. But that is an embarrassment. And these boys know this. Fisher's been posting all week on Twitter about the crowds. We need the crowds. Well, is Vol Nation not listening? That makes a difference. And I mean, I'm just flabbergasted by it. And I just had to say, if you're close into Knoxville, get your butts over to the stadium and just act out tonight. We need that. That could make the difference.
Bino, will you be there?
I will not be there tonight, Brian. But Holly, I'll be surprised if this isn't a really good, active crowd tonight in this situation.
Well, I hope you're right, because I was disappointed with all of that on the weekend. I just was like, what are you people doing? And I don't understand. I know a lot of people do that now. They either don't come to the games or they leave early. And I'm just thinking, I remember sitting for hours on the interstate just trying to get out of Knoxville back in the day from a football game. It's so easy to get in and out of Lindsay. I don't understand what the big deal is. As far as traffic, There's not any traffic comparatively.
I was proud of Willie Heflin for calling him out last night. I told him that. You know, we were loading the show in here, and you can hear me talking sometimes in our condenser mic that I have when I'm uploading the show. And I told Will, I said, people can hear this. I don't care if I hear it or not. I said, because I'm going to say it on the air. I said, that you are growing as a broadcaster when you pick a microphone up and you give your opinion, even if you know the repercussions are. Because ordinarily, you don't tell the fans, hey, you know, you gotta give us a little more than this. Holly, that kid Arvidsson, they give him like a clap like this. Look, if that kid would have done that at LSU, they would have curtain called that kid.
You
we got to understand the
people
sport
like
more here,
spoiled,
y'all.
rotten.
Exactly.
I'm thinking, all right, fellow Vols, we are the reigning national champions. Have you all not forgotten that every time anybody plays us, they want to give it an extra effort and beat the tar out of the reigning national champions? So that's part of it. So they come in loaded for bear, and they're going to play most of the time their best, give it their best effort. Okay, and then we sit up there, and, you know, they'll cheer the first or second inning, and then I'm like, is everybody asleep, or did you go out to your car and get a flask?
You're right.
You're drinking, and you're sad drunks instead of happy drunks?
I mean, no offense, but they let that kid yesterday that couldn't throw a strike stay on that mound. That kid should have been so intimidated. Look, to you people that give a lot of money and sit down low, either come to the damn games or give your tickets away. But if you come to the games, get off your ass and stand up for a minute. I mean, it's not going to hurt you.
I know that those very wealthy people,
no offense,
they love the Vols too, and they do a lot of good as far as everything that goes. But if they truly love the Vols, which I'm sure they do, they got to think about filling those seats up and being rowdy. It drives me crazy to just when I'm up there and when I see it on TV.
You're right.
And I'm like, what does this world come to? We are the national champions. We have the best coach in the country. We have these guys that are so good. We are seeing future Major League Baseball players, and we want to leave and because we want to beat a little traffic down I-40 in Knoxville.
It's crazy.
And I'm just sitting there going, do you all know what you have in your hands and are taking for granted? Because this is, you know, maybe we're not as good a team as we were last year, but who cares? We're still good. Maybe we're not great this year, but we're still Vols, and we are. The Vols fans have been so known to follow their teams, even in the good times and the bad times. These aren't bad times. These are
awesome. This team won 40 games. I mean, and Holly, thank you for the call. I appreciate you calling it out. And I generally do not tell people how to act or think or any of that because it's just not. I don't do that. But that kid last night was on the damn ropes, and you could hear a pin drop in there. I'm sorry. And by the way, I stay up till 5:30 in the morning doing post-game shows after we got beat to Ohio State. I've earned the right to get on people a little bit. I'm sorry. And Will Heflin last night, I said, hey, you wore that uniform, man. You're certainly entitled to say, hey, make a difference in a baseball game. Bino, you've been in those playoffs atmospheres in Yankee Stadium. I mean, and playoff atmospheres up there with the Indianapolis Colts, and that's professional sports. There's no reason we shouldn't ratchet it up here.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe in those situations in professional cities, Tony, and at traditional Southeastern Conference baseball powers too.
That's right. That's right.
Guess we're learning as we go here.
And I think it's fair to say that. I think it's fair to say, hey, because here's the thing. Like when I was a kid, I remember this game like it was yesterday. Now the Phillies lost a 3-run lead in the ninth. We call it Black Friday to the Dodgers, but they had a guy on the mound named Bert Hooton, and a couple idiots down the third base line started hooting at him, Bino, and he walked somebody, and soon the whole stadium was on their feet hooting at him. Hoot, 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 hoot. He got so in his own head that he walked in 2 runs. That's what happened. It's a major league pitcher, a pretty damn good one. I'll never forget walking off the field. It's a Friday afternoon, 1977. Worst loss in Phillies history. This guy takes his glove. I'm a kid watching this. Throws it against the wall in the dugout and screams the biggest F word. And you didn't see those guys do that back then, but they had the camera on him. This guy was royally pissed off at himself because he lost himself because the crowd was hooting at him, Bino. Hooting at him. I mean, you can, and if you can do that to a major league player, you could certainly impact the kid last night who couldn't land his breaking ball. I mean, he couldn't hit me with his breaking ball. He couldn't. I mean, he wasn't anywhere close. And we're just kind of sitting like, okay, entertain us. Listen, when you go to a postseason baseball game, you're a part of it. You are a part of it. I'm watching that atmosphere at Clemson, Brian, that squeeze play. And they've got that, and they lost the game, but they've got that thing down in the bullpen where a kid's warming up. There are people eye level to him just screaming right in his face. I can't believe they let that go on there, Brian.
Have you seen the crazy Swayzes after a home run at Ole Miss and how loud those folks and how crazy they are?
No. Is that the drunk kids in the outfield?
Yeah. Just throwing beers and everything. That's the kind of atmosphere that makes the college game great. Is that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Bino, when we
don't have anything close to that here, unfortunately.
Well, what happened?
I think it was kind of like that when Drew Gilbert had the walk-off
That's
grand
right.
slam.
It was
more
like
so
that
season.
It was because
more closer to that
because you had more folks. Like Laura told me, it was really loud around her last night, which is up high behind the plate, up high. She said the people around there, but they're too far away to affect the deal. The people that are right on top of that thing have to do more tonight. Wake is a team that walks everybody, and I ordinarily don't do this, but it's a very important part of having the home field advantage. You've got to have an advantage. The thing I hope is that a lot of people aren't going to go that ordinarily would and are flipping their tickets. Like when I hear Gold Brick Joe going to be in the third row, let me tell you something about Gold Brick Joe. He going to get thrown out of there. Because, Bino, you and I know that brain donor, and he's going to stand up, and they're going to come down and tell him to sit down, and he's going to say, no, you people stand up. This is a playoff game. This is Game 7. This is our last game of the year here. We can stand up, and we can impact this. We can impact this pitcher.
Yeah, Tony. When I hear that you can get row 3 seats for $60 a piece, I don't think there's any question that this will be a more common fan crowd.
Yes.
Tonight.
And listen, I'm not getting on anybody. I love the fact that donors donate and let us have these nice things, and the tickets are way too expensive. I get all that. But my thing is, it looks like when I was first starting to follow the game, and I'm back 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm watching games at Vanderbilt, I'm going, why are all those seats empty? So I asked Plaster that, and he goes, oh, these people live in the Northeast, and they renew their season tickets every year because that's what Vanderbilt has, this Northeastern fan base. And they don't even bother to, they're so rich, they don't even bother to, like, make sure people are in their seats. And you guys have noticed that, right? Tennessee's becoming like that. When you look around down there around the thing this year, Brian, as the season's gone along, people don't even fill their seats. They just buy them. I mean,
and
it's not good. That's not good.
You've got students that have got a great look at who's warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, they've been the fans exactly. The students have been banished to Siberia in that place. I mean, I'm sorry. I was proud of Will for saying that last night because I told him, I said, look, I said, when you grow as a broadcaster, when you say something into a microphone that you know has repercussions. And he didn't do it for shock value. Let me tell you a funny Will story last night, Bino. See if you can picture this. So I'm in here trying to get everything ready because he told on himself last night. He said, my wife knows that after a loss like this, you don't talk to me for 90 minutes. He goes, and Basilio talked me into doing a post-game show. You like it, Bino? He said, I was the guy that my wife wouldn't even go near me for 90 minutes after we suffered a loss like this. I saw this side of Will last night. We're getting ready in here. The game ends abruptly on a walk. Bases loaded walk, as we all know. It ended much sooner than I thought it would. Hey, Bino, I'm back here in the studio. Picture this, okay? I reach around and put the headphones on his head because I'm back here playing around with the computer, getting it set up to record. He takes the headphones off his head and puts them down and says, give me 20 seconds, man, to collect myself. I'm wanting him to go live right away. He goes on the air and he's in shock. He's like, I don't know what to say to you. So we're just going to take some calls because the phone's ringing off the hook. But his initial inclination was, what I saw just pissed me off so bad that I'm lucky he didn't take the headphones and throw them on the ground. Because really, I shouldn't be. Bino's seen me reach over there and grab his headphone before. I have a bad habit with that. And Bino told me one time, if you reach over there and touch my headphone again, I'm literally going to slap the hell out of you. And he knows that's true. Could you picture me putting the headphone on Heflin's head last night and him doing that? Beanstar, yes or no?
I can, Tony. Yes. I can.
Because I'm trying to get the show going. And the backstory is Laura's at the game. Ordinarily, she's the one doing all this. So it took me 5 minutes to unmute Twitter Spaces like it did today. She wasn't in here today. That's why, those of you that were on Twitter Spaces, that's why it was muted for the first 7 or 8 minutes. I know that's kind of flies in the face of clicking on Twitter Spaces and the show's muted. But hey, good for me. Lottie-dottie for freaking me. All right, we got to get out of here, and I got to eat some lunch. Bri, give me a score update on my Lady Vols because I'm getting ready to bear down and watch that game.
Texas leads 1-0. They're batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. A solo homer in the 4th inning gave Texas the lead. That barely cleared the left field wall, by the way.
Bino, we need a bloop and a blast here. This team could
6
win
outs
it all.
to play with. They got 6 outs to play with.
This Tennessee softball team could win the whole thing. There's not a great team out there, and they have a great pitcher. It'd be a shame if what happened Thursday comes back to haunt them, which is probably, if that score holds up, what's going to happen. Bino, are we celebrating into the wee small hours of the morning tonight, or are we crying in our beer and saluting these guys? Because either way, I think this has been one hell of a run for these guys. They've gotten pretty much what they have out of what they have this year, in my mind.
I think Tennessee's postseason tradition holds, Tony, and they win this elimination game and they move on to Fayetteville.
All right. Will Heflin, who was so emotional last night and wanted embargoed last night, texted me and said, Coons will throw 6 scoreless innings tonight. Bargo goes 3 for 4 and hits a couple jacks tonight. He said he'll break out and be the star.
That would be justice.
Brian Hartman, take a stand on the way out because I don't want to jinx us. And Matt Dixon said, Tony told me yesterday in a personal conversation, he said, if you get on the air and you do that thing about how Arkansas struggles in their building and we're going to go down there and win, he said, I will literally come to the Rainier studio and kick you right in your nuts. Don't you be jinxing us. See, Could you picture Matt Dixon saying that to
I
me?
know. Well, I know that's true. I don't know Will very well, but I know that's true.
Matt said if you do that thing where you talk about how we're going to go down there and own them. Go ahead, Bri. What happens tonight?
I think it'll be tight until the 7th or 8th inning, and I think the Vols will take advantage of some compromised pitching from Wake Forest and will win by 3 runs.
Beautiful.
I hope you and Bino are right. I knew Wake was going to lose to Cincinnati on Friday. I knew that thing was coming. I knew that was coming. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. And the truth is, our two teams are so similar with each other. Both hit the ball out of the ballpark. Both are prone to having a 3-run inning keyed by a key error or goofy fielding play. And they walk a lot of batters. And we leave a lot of guys on base that walk. As Richard said, how you can see a guy walk a bases loaded and not score a run in college baseball, I mean, I applaud that. Whatever that is, I applaud that. In the meantime, to the guys and gals on hold, I'd love to stay here and talk to you, but we're going to be on here late tonight. It's going to be a late night. And I love you. I love your show. It's a first world problem. We got thousands of people listening. I love you and love your show. We appreciate you. I want to thank Bino, Jeff. I want to thank Bri. Y'all are utterly incredible. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, I hope you have a great one. Be blessed. Enjoy the game tonight. If you're going, get loud. We can rattle this guy. We can rattle that team. We're allowed to do that. It's encouraged. It's postseason baseball. Love you, appreciate you, enjoy the season. Enjoy the game tonight, not the season. Boy, I hope that's not a Freudian slip on my part. We'll be back with Garza Law extra innings as soon as it goes final. Thank you to my friends at TLD Logistics for presenting TLD Logistics Overtime. Appreciate you. Peace. GBO. Something special about a playoff game, y'all. Let's not squander this tonight. Enjoy the game if you're going. Now let's run it back, shall we? Today's program was good. I'm proud of today's good. I was a little jacked up today. I'm as they say in the hood, I'm excited. I'm excited. Basilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Basilio live with you. We are in your Raymere studio today. It is a historic day. Here to be alive and well with you. And it really is a historic day. The first time in Tony Vols' tenure that Tennessee's been in this spot, and they're in a spot, and they're up against the wall here. And they've kind of put themselves up against the wall because they sort of played with their food with Wake Forest last night because this team's just not going to do anything easy. And Will Heflin was in here last night talking about that. And then at the same time, you have to – it's okay to be myopic when it comes to your own team, and I am, and we all are. Baseball's like that. You know, baseball's a sport where – at any level, when your team's going well, you want to watch a sport, you want to get involved with it. When your team's not going well, it's a tough sport to watch. The truth is that around the country this weekend, this is the most volatile brand of baseball there has to be. I mean, how can it get more volatile than what we saw this weekend across the country? As I bring in Bino, Jeff Henderson, and Brian Hartman, against the backdrop that what we've seen is sheer craziness with pandemonia reigning. And by the way, we have a lot to discuss today, a lot. But the truth is that, oh man, The truth is that this has been insane. Goodbye, Van